Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Superare S50 Italian-made boxing gloves. So check it out. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review of the Superare S50 Italian-made boxing gloves. I got mine in the Pietra colorway, which is basically a stone gray. 16 ounces in Velcro. You can also get this model in lace up. Anywhere between 10 to 18 ounces with 6 total colorways you could choose from, which you could check out on the Superare website. It's made of full, genuine Italian leather throughout the entire glove, with a polyester satin liner on the inside of the hand compartment and layered foam padding over the knuckles that I'd say is about medium in firmness, and the gloves are handmade in Italy. Now, from a sizing and design standpoint, I'd say for a 16-ounce glove that these are more on the medium to large size. Now, when I say that, I'm saying that kind of comparing that to other gloves at the same weight. So you have 16-ounce gloves that are some are more compact, even though they weigh the same as the larger profile gloves. They're the same weight, but they have a more compact frame, if you want to call it. And there's gloves that are right there in the middle, and then you have gloves that are really big for a 16-ounce glove. I'd say that these are more on the medium to larger size side when it comes to the actual size and profile of the glove. And it has a really beautiful look to it. I've always really liked the Superare Italian logo that they use on their gloves. It's basically a gold logo with the Superare on it, with the green, white, and red right there at the very top that says Superare, and you have the Italian colors, or the Italian flag colors right there. The colorway again is called Pietra, which is basically like almost like a vintage stone gray. It has almost like this water, kind of like this watermarked look to it, kind of like a worn in look, if you want to call it, like stone. I call it stone gray because it's not a consistent gray. It has almost like these little splotches of white throughout the leather, which gives it a little bit more of a worn-in look and feel to it, very vintage. And I think it looks really cool. I dig that. So for those of you that are kind of more into that worn-in vintage look aesthetically, then I think you'd be a fan of this colorway. But you do have that Pietra, and there's a couple other colorways. I think they have a brown, I forgot what they call it, but it's also has kind of that vintage worn-in look in terms of the actual color. So you have that, and I'd say the leather on here is more of a satin finish, satin to maybe matte. It's definitely not a glossy type of leather. You do have a 3.5-inch Velcro strap on the back of the wrist. You do have the cloth patch Superare on the back that says Prodotto Italiano, so Italian product, I would assume, on the back, and you have the green and the red. And the inside of the hand compartment, again, you do have that polyester satin liner on the inside. No surprises there. Wrist support wise, I'd say you have about 1 inch of medium density padding on the inside of the wrist on both sides, and about 1 inch of medium density padding on the back of the wrist. So you have some padding for the wrist support. You do have a 16-ounce weight tag that is stitched to the bottom, black piping right there. You do have black piping throughout the entire glove, so the colorway on this is going to be that stone gray or the Pietra in black. You have black piping on the inner portion of the palm side. Again, you can see the foam inserts for the wrist support on the inside, gray piping, double stitching throughout. I'd say the grip bar in here is very firm. It almost reminds me, I'd probably say that that's probably like a rubber tubing that you see some manufacturers use, which I like. You don't have any issues with it actually breaking down. So you do have a large, what feels like a rubber tube for the grip bar. You do not have any ventilated holes at all on the palm or on the inside of the thumb. And you do have a leather attached thumb right there. So pretty much the same for both gloves. Now, quality wise, the leather on here is definitely top notch. Very nice leather, very thick, very supple. And you can definitely tell in terms of the manufacturing here, you know, the stitching all looks really clean. There's no areas really of any type of quality control concern. You know, where the thumb meets the index finger, underneath where the finger compartment is, around the grip bar, on the palm side of the glove, all the stitching looks really clean and consistent. In terms of the symmetry between the two gloves, when you put them next to each other, they're the same height and the same width. The location of the Velcro straps is where it needs to be. The location of the logos, or that heat printed, or should you say a heat applied logo on both gloves, are right there in the middle where they need to be. They're not crooked. Weight wise, they were a little bit off. I'd say the left glove I remember was 15.4 and the right glove was at 15.8 ounces. So they were both a little bit underweight. The left glove a little bit more than the right. For training gloves, I'm not super concerned with that, but it is something that is worth mentioning. The other thing that I did notice, which is kind of more on the comfort side, what I guess you can consider it to be more of a quality issue as well, which it may not be able to capture in the video, but the right thumb, or the right glove thumb, flares out a little bit more than the left glove. And the only way you know that is when you put your hands into the glove. So that's the only inconsistency I found, was the right thumb flares out a little bit wider than the left. So that's something I'll discuss here in a second. In terms of balance, you can see that the glove isn't top heavy. You can grab the back cuff and the front, and you don't have any dip or any kind of sag with the glove. So overall, quality on the gloves are really nice and solid. Beautifully crafted gloves. I think they look great. And the leather they use on here, it has a very premium feel. Comfort wise, the gloves feel really good on the inside of the hand compartment. The right one on as well. The liner feels really good. You don't have any excess material really bunching up anywhere on the inside of the hand compartment. The thumb position on the left hand is perfect, really. Nice parallel thumb. When I make a fist, it doesn't pull down on the tip of the thumb, which feels really good. I'd say that the gloves are semi-broken in when you first get them. They're not extremely soft, but they're not really stiff either. I'd say they're right in the middle. And the more you use them, they will definitely soften up to where you can really open and close your hand all the way. But I'd say semi-broken in. The one thing I did notice was the right glove, which I just mentioned a minute ago. The thumb flares out a little bit more than the left. I feel like the left is a little bit more pulled in, and the right glove is a little bit flared out. It's not a huge deal. I wouldn't say that it's uncomfortable per se, but it does feel a little bit different. Not necessarily a bad thing, but just not as good as the left, if that makes sense. So it would have been nice if this right thumb was pulled in just a little bit more. But in terms of the depth, it's perfect. Finger compartment, I'd say, is really good on both, fairly deep and good enough width where your fingers aren't cramming against each other. And they also put this really nice thick piece that acts like a secondary grip bar on the finger compartment. It's almost like they overcompensated and knew that people really like that feature in gloves. And it's right over where the stitching is on the finger compartment. And it's like this really thick piece. It feels like a rolled foam, if I want to call it, but it's right over the stitching. And again, it almost acts like a secondary grip bar. It doesn't feel flat. It feels kind of like it's rolled up. So your fingers can really get behind it to really grab down and get a good grip. But everything else about the glove is comfortable. Liner feels good, no excess there. Wrist support feels very comfortable. So overall, a very comfortable glove, minus that little thumb issue on the right glove. Protection and performance. To me, this is right there in the middle. The padding on here does a good job of absorbing shock, but it also has a good amount of give. And this is the type of glove that's pretty versatile. You can use it for really everything in the gym. It gets a good crack and pop. So for those of you that like to get that really good feel when you're hitting the mitts or you're hitting the heavy bag, you'll definitely get that with this glove. The layered foam on here compresses down nicely, but not to the point where it's too soft, where you're kind of sacrificing the protection and feel like you might be a little compromised when it comes to your knuckles, or if you have any type of knuckle soreness there, you can feel pretty confident that these gloves will do a good job of giving you that support where you need it. But it's also not ultra stiff, so really good glove for that. You can use this for sparring. They do offer it in lace up for those of you that want to go with the sparring version of this glove. So it's very versatile, not in the fact, only in the fact of the type of foam they use, but they give you lace up, they give you Velcro, and multiple different sizes depending on your weight class. So I definitely like the fact that Superare really gives you a wide variety of options when it comes to this particular glove. But I'd say right there in the middle is a balanced glove, essentially a training glove if you want to call it. Cost-wise, these gloves are $199.99, so let's just round up. They're $200 for this glove, which I think is, you know, all things considered, is a really good deal for a glove that's handmade in Italy. I was going to say Italy, handmade in Italy. Really nice quality materials. They use the leather on here for very high premium, has a high premium feel to it, very thick. The stitching is done really nicely. You know, the quality overall is really good. Padding they use is very premium as well. Doesn't feel like a cheap padded glove. The variety of sizes and colorways you can choose from, as well as going with lace up, is also, you know, great features to have. So at a $200 price point, I think they actually, now that I think about it, I actually think they came down in price, and maybe they'll probably correct me on this, but I could have sworn that these gloves were $250 before. So if they came down by $50, that's kind of an anomaly, because most people are going up in price right now when it comes to boxing equipment, where I do think they came down $50, or maybe even $100 if I can recall. Maybe they were at $299, so maybe they were $300. So whether it was $50 or $100 that they're more affordable now, I definitely love that. I think they're overall a really solid glove at that price point, especially for those of you that are looking for a premium training glove. So definitely satisfied with these. If you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these S50 boxing gloves. See you guys later. Peace.